Listen up, because what you're about to hear could change the way you see casinos forever. It's November 2025, and as the year winds down, one former casino slot technician is stepping out of the shadow. For years, he fixed the machines by day and watched players bleed cash by night. But now, he's flipping the script. In this expose, he's exposing the top 5 slot machines of 2025 that the house never wanted players to understand. These aren't just games, they're precision-built systems full of hidden edges, deceptive bonuses, and payout traps that blur the line between luck and control, the kind that can make an ordinary player feel unstoppable. Right before the game takes everything back, he worked for nearly a decade behind the bright chaos of casino floors, where noise never stops and time quietly disappears. He wasn't a gambler or a player, he was a technician. His job was to test the machines, fix errors, and monitor performance data. But after years of staring at the same screens, he started noticing something strange, patterns that weren't random. According to him, some of the new generation slot machines aren't designed just to take your money. They're designed to study you, to measure your reactions, your habits, and even your frustration level. Every sound, light, and symbol is part of a feedback system that adapts to how you play. He said, "The modern casino floor isn't built to trick you once. It's built to keep you comfortable while you lose." And that's where his story begins. With 5 machines, he says, represent everything that's wrong with modern gaming. Machines so advanced, they don't just rely on luck anymore, they rely on psychology. The first one is a game that looks innocent enough, bright, glowing, cheerful. A new release that players describe as fun, exciting, and full of bonuses. It's called Super Hot Flaming Pots, and according to insiders, it's one of the most deceptively engineered slots of the decade. When this game was introduced, casinos marketed it as a player-friendly upgrade to traditional hold and spin formats. The new Lantern bonus was supposed to make it easier to win. More chances, more fun. But what most players don't realize is that this new feature isn't there to help them win more. It's there to keep them spinning longer. Inside casino tech manuals, Flaming Pots is described as a progressive engagement design. That means the game rewards the act of playing more than the act of winning. You trigger features more often, but the payouts are smaller and more volatile. Players feel constant stimulation, flickering lanterns, glowing multipliers, and fast-moving animations, even as their bankrolls slowly drain. A former slot designer who worked on the project said the key change was something called sequenced volatility modulation. In simple terms, the game intentionally spaces out real wins, but fills the gaps with smaller, micro bonuses that look and sound exciting. The player's brain doesn't distinguish between a $3 win and a $30 win if the sound and visuals are the same. That's how Flaming Pots keeps players hooked. The ex-employee said he once watched a woman play the same Flaming Pots machine for over 6 hours straight. She won dozens of times, celebrating and cheering with friends, yet her total balance never rose above what she started with. She wasn't winning, he said, she was being entertained by losing slowly. He explained that this machine uses what's known internally as the lantern rhythm. Every few spins, lanterns flicker at just the right interval to create anticipation. It's subtle, a tiny flash, a brief sound, but it trains your mind to wait for it, like a heartbeat. That rhythm makes it almost impossible to walk away. The ex-employee said, "You don't even notice you're losing because your brain thinks you're progressing. But there's no progress. Every spin is statistically the same. The lights just make you believe it's different." He revealed that the algorithm behind Flaming Pots doesn't just track wins and losses, it also measures speed. If the player starts spinning faster, which usually means frustration or chasing losses, the game automatically increases the odds of small recovery wins. Enough to cool emotions, but not enough to turn a profit. It's not random luck, it's emotional pacing. Casinos love this machine because it keeps players seated longer than almost any other title in its class. Internal performance data shows an average play session of 42 minutes, nearly double the industry average. And that's just the start. Flaming Pots represents a new generation of adaptive slots, machines that blur the line between gaming and behavioral conditioning. They give you hope, anticipation, and the illusion of control, all while your balance fades quietly to zero. As the ex-employee said, "It's not a game anymore. It's an experiment you're paying to participate in." He paused, looking down at the list of machines. On his notes, and then said quietly, "The next one is even worse. It hides behind humor. That next one," he explained, "is a player favorite. Bright, funny, and full of cartoonish charm, but behind its smiling graphics lies a mathematical system that punishes small bettors while rewarding reckless ones. It's called Piggy Bankin' Breakin'. On the surface, Piggy Bankin' Breakin' looks harmless, even cute. The reels are covered in cartoon pigs, golden coins, and bright pink vaults. The soundtrack is playful, lighthearted, almost silly. To most players, it feels like a children's game that just happens to pay money. But according to the ex-employee, this is one of the most manipulative machines ever designed for low-limit players. He explained that the psychology behind Piggy Bankin' is simple: disguise punishment as playfulness. Every element of the game is engineered to make losses feel fun. The cheerful music, the oinking sound effects, the random coin showers, they all exist to mask what's actually happening underneath the surface. One of the most aggressive hold percentages in its category. He said, "This machine isn't meant to make you rich. It's meant to make you laugh while you lose." The game's defining feature is the Piggy Smash bonus. Players collect piggy symbols, and once enough are gathered, the pigs burst into coins, triggering a hold-and-spin style bonus. The catch? The game's algorithm ensures that 90% of players trigger the bonus after just enough spins to start chasing it. Casino insiders refer to this as the half-chase mechanic. The system is calibrated to make you feel almost done collecting pigs, so close that walking away feels like wasting progress. But progress doesn't actually exist. Each spin resets the odds. The ex-employee said it's one of the most brilliant psychological traps ever built into a slot. People believe they're filling a progress bar, he said, but it's just a light show. The machine doesn't remember you. You're always starting over. He recalled an experiment where casinos tracked the behavior of 1,000 players on Piggy Bankin' Breakin'. Nearly 70% of them stayed at the machine longer than 30 minutes, and almost half doubled their original bet halfway through. When asked why, they all said the same thing: "I just needed one more pig." One technician who helped install these machines described them as optimism simulators. The game constantly teases you with pigs appearing in groups of 4 when you need 5, or bonus coins flashing just above the reel. The frequency of near misses is higher than in older machines. Not illegal, but intentional. Statistically, players should feel disappointed after missing a bonus by one symbol, but the game doesn't let that happen. The moment you lose, cheerful sounds play, and animated pigs giggle on screen. It's comfort after loss, a tiny burst of endorphins that tricks the brain into staying calm. You're being rewarded for missing, the ex-employee said. That's not luck, that's conditioning. He shared the story of a man named Travis, a construction worker who came in twice a week after his shifts. Travis always played Piggy Bankin'. He called it his stress relief. Over 3 months, he logged almost 100 hours on that same game. When asked why he liked it, he said, "It's fair, it lets me win a little." But according to casino records, his average session win rate was negative $85. He wasn't winning a little, he was losing slowly. That's what makes Piggy Bankin' so powerful. It doesn't try to drain your money fast. It gives you time to bond with it. The cartoon pigs, the jingles, the constant small wins, they build familiarity. And familiarity builds trust. Insiders say this kind of design is called soft loop retention. It's a system meant to create comfort and repetition. The player begins associating the machine's sounds with safety, even satisfaction. You might not win, but you feel good losing. He said, "The best manipulation is the one that makes you grateful while it happens." There's another hidden trick in Piggy Bankin', the illusion of bet control. Players are given 3 levels of betting options, with animations that become more exciting the higher you go. Many believe betting higher increases their odds. It doesn't, but it makes them feel more powerful, and that illusion keeps them engaged. The ex-employee said, "Casinos realize that players want control, even fake control. If you give them the button to press, they'll press it forever." Piggy Bankin'. Breakin' is one of the few machines that can make both casual and serious players feel the same thing: anticipation. It doesn't matter how much you're betting or how often you lose, because every spin feels like progress. The brain sees movement, sound, and animation as proof that something is happening. But statistically, nothing changes. The reels are random, the outcomes are fixed in probability, and the illusion is perfect. In the internal maintenance manual, the ex-employee said he once found a note left by a previous technician that summed it up best. Written in pen across the corner of the page were 6 words: "They'll smile while they go broke." That note, he said, was truer than any training manual. Piggy Bankin' isn't violent or flashy. It's gentle, colorful, and deceptively comforting. It's not trying to steal your money, it's trying to borrow your attention. And in the end, that's far more valuable to the casino. The ex-employee looked at the list in front of him again, his finger tapping the next line. Now this next one, he said, is the opposite of comfort. It's adrenaline dressed as generosity. He was talking about a game that looked like a celebration of luck, one that promised lightning-fast wins and endless rewards. But behind the flashing graphics and booming music, it was designed to simulate chaos and make players believe speed equals luck. The machine's name? Ultimate Fast Cash. If Piggy Bankin' Breakin' traps you with charm, Ultimate Fast Cash does the opposite. It overwhelms you with speed. According to the ex-casino employee, this machine is a masterclass in sensory manipulation. It's loud, blinding, and relentless. The kind of game that makes you forget what time it is after only a few spins. When the game first appeared on the casino floor, players called it a rush. It's filled with streaks of gold, flashing lightning, and non-stop bonus symbols dropping from the sky. The entire experience feels explosive, like you're always one spin away from something massive. But the ex-employee said that feeling is exactly what it's designed to sell. Ultimate Fast Cash was never built around winning, he said. It was built around momentum. The faster you play, the less you think. He explained that the core design of the game uses something internally referred to as accelerated cycle stimulation. The machine's spin speed and win frequency are calibrated to keep players pressing the button at near maximum rhythm. Every 2 or 3 spins, something happens. Coins, wilds, bonus teases, sound bursts. These micro events create the illusion of progress and flow even when you're steadily losing. One technician who helped service the first test units said it felt like a slot machine on caffeine. Unlike traditional games that pause between wins, Ultimate Fast Cash transitions instantly from one animation to another. There's no time to breathe, no time to reflect. That pause between spins is where logic lives, the ex-employee said. This game erases it. He recalled a night when he was tasked with recalibrating a bank of fast cash machines. During testing, he realized that the bonus triggers were set at slightly higher than average frequency, but the payouts were microscopic. The effect? You feel rewarded constantly, even when you're just breaking even. That's the trick, he explained. It floods you with small dopamine spikes, so your brain can't tell the difference between a good win and a cheap one. Casinos love that structure because it keeps players spinning faster. On average, Ultimate Fast Cash players make 22% more spins per session than on slower games like Firelink or Dragonlink. The more spins you make, the faster the math works in the casino's favor. The ex-employee called it profit by acceleration. He told a story about a man named Carl, a middle-aged restaurant manager who visited the casino every Friday night after work. Carl loved Fast Cash. He said it made him feel alive. One night, after several hours of playing, he hit 3 bonuses in 20 minutes. None paid more than $40. But the flashing lights and blaring music made him believe he was on a hot streak. He doubled his bets, played another hour, and left without realizing he'd lost nearly $700. He didn't feel like he lost, the ex-employee said. He felt like the game had been fun. That's how it gets you. Inside development documentation, the machine's designers describe its reward pacing as dynamic and event-rich. In reality, it's carefully timed chaos. There's rarely a quiet spin. Even losing spins trigger flashes, minor jingles, or random coin showers that make your brain register activity, not failure. It's the same principle that keeps people glued to social media feeds, constant micro rewards that don't add up to anything, but make you crave the next one. The ex-employee said this behavior is called variable sensory reinforcement. The player doesn't play for money anymore, they play for motion. The game becomes a rhythm. Click, lash, sound, reward. Click, lash, sound, reward. And when that rhythm takes over, logic disappears. He remembered once standing behind a woman who'd been on Fast Cash for nearly 2 hours. She was tapping the spin button with one finger, eyes half focused on the screen, almost like she was hypnotized. You could tell her brain was running on autopilot, he said. She wasn't chasing money anymore, she was chasing stimulation. That's the power of Ultimate Fast Cash. It teaches your brain to crave movement instead of outcome. Every second feels urgent, every spin feels important, and every small hit keeps you from walking away. What makes the game even more manipulative is its false generosity system. According to insiders, the Fast Cash bonus, the feature that promises instant rewards, is programmed to appear more frequently when you're losing. But the average payout of that bonus is less than 20% of your total wagered amount. It's not a bailout, it's bait. One developer described it perfectly. It's like handing someone a band-aid while you keep cutting. The game uses that tactic to balance emotion. When a player's frustration level spikes, the bonus appears, delivering just enough excitement to calm them down. That's not coincidence, it's design. Another hidden feature is what technicians call the momentum bias trigger. After long losing streaks, the reels intentionally produce sequences where several high-value symbols land close to winning position. This creates the illusion that the machine is heating up. It's not. The outcome hasn't changed, but your belief has, and that belief is what keeps you spinning. The ex-employee said casinos position these machines near high-traffic areas, entrances, cashier cages, and restrooms, because their light and sound patterns are attention magnets. They're not just playing to the person sitting there, he said, they're advertising to everyone walking by, and the numbers back it up. Internal revenue charts from early 2025 show that Ultimate Fast Cash earned casinos up to 18% more per unit than the older Fast Money series. Players weren't necessarily losing bigger amounts, they were just playing longer, faster, and with more emotional momentum. It's not about winning anymore, the ex-employee said, it's about never stopping. He said that when he finally realized how much data these machines machines collected: player speed, bet changes, spin rhythm. He started seeing them differently. It's not a slot machine, he said. It's a feedback loop. By the end of his explanation, he stared at the list again, tracing the next name with his finger. Now this next one, he said quietly, is where control becomes the illusion. It doesn't want you to lose fat. It wants you to believe you can manage it. The fourth machine on his list was an evolution of a classic, a game so famous that even casual players recognize it instantly. But according to insiders, it's also one of the most cunning examples of how modern casinos use choice and chance together to create an illusion of fairness. It's called Dancing Drums Link. The ex-employee leaned forward as he spoke about the fourth game on his list. Dancing Drums Link, he said, isn't just a slot, it's a performance. Every sound, every shimmer, every drum beat is choreographed to make you believe you're the one in control. He explained that unlike the chaotic pace of ultimate fast cash, this machine takes the opposite approach. It slows you down, draws you in, and makes every decision feel meaningful. Players think they're choosing their own destiny, but the truth is, every outcome is predetermined long before you touch the screen. When Dancing Drums Link first appeared, casinos marketed it as a player-driven experience. The golden pots, the pick-and-win features, the customizable reel configurations, all of it gave players the illusion of power. But insiders know that the so-called choice feature doesn't actually change the odds. It just gives the feeling of influence. He said, players don't need real control. They just need to believe they have it. The most famous feature of the game, the Foo Babies Jackpot Bonus, is a perfect example. 3 golden pots sit above the reels, glowing brighter with each spin. At random, one pot closes and triggers a jackpot picking screen. The player then chooses coins to reveal matching symbol, hoping for the grand prize. The catch? The moment the feature begins, the outcome is already locked in. The picking process is nothing more than theater. Whether you tap the left or right coin, the game has already decided what you'll get. It's a show, the ex-employee said. You think you're making choices, but you're really just watching a script unfold. He recalled seeing internal diagrams from the game's developer that described the feature as immersive engagement with fixed payout resolution. That's corporate speak for the player's actions don't matter, but it works. Players stay hooked because they feel responsible for what happened. When they lose, they blame themselves for choosing wrong. When they win, they feel proud, as if they outsmarted the system. It's one of the most effective psychological tools in gambling. Self-attribution. The ex-employee explained that casinos love Dancing Drums Link because it appeals to emotion, not adrenaline. The slow tempo, soft music, and elegant visuals give a sense of comfort and ritual. It doesn't feel like gambling, he said. It feels like meditation, with money on the line. He described how many regular players, especially older ones, develop deep attachment to the game. They talk to it, bless it, even bring charms or tokens to place on the machine. That's not superstition, he said. That's conditioning. The game teaches you to treat it like a relationship. One night, during routine maintenance, he watched an elderly woman play the same machine for over 3 hours. She wasn't chasing a jackpot, she was simply waiting for her pot to close. Every few minutes, she'd whisper, "Come on, baby, I know you're close." He said quietly, "That's when I realized the game had replaced hope with habit." Dancing Drums Link uses what developers call incremental anticipation design. The glowing pots above the reels fill slowly, visually suggesting that a bonus is getting closer. But like piggy bankin', the progression is entirely fake, a light animation, not an actual meter. The pots could close at any time, and often do so after long, strategically spaced intervals to maintain suspense. It's psychological pacing, he explained. The machine doesn't need to pay you, it just needs to keep you expecting that it will. Another subtle trick is the jackpot hierarchy. There are 4 possible jackpots: mini, minor, major, and grand. The machine's sound and animation escalate differently depending on which prize it has already chosen. Even before you know what you're getting, the tone of the drum beat subtly prepares your emotion. It's why some players feel they knew they'd hit something small or big. Their subconscious picked up on the sound cue. That sound manipulation, he said, is intentional. The rhythm of the drums changes slightly after every losing spin, a tiny adjustment to keep your brain attentive. Your ears notice patterns your mind doesn't, he said. It's like being hypnotized without realizing it. The ex-employee said this machine also uses what's known as comfort volatility. That means instead of long dry streaks, it delivers small consistent payouts, giving players a sense of stability. You rarely lose too fast, but over time you're still losing. It's like being slowly lulled into acceptance. He explained, it's the difference between ripping off a band-aid and letting it fall off on its own. One hurts fast, one hurts slow, but the result's the same. What makes Dancing Drums Link so effective is its emotional tone. It doesn't scream or flash like other machines. It whispers. It invites you to trust it, and that trust is what makes it dangerous. He recalled reading a design memo that stated, players are more likely to re-engage after small wins than large ones, as large wins often conclude a session. In other words, the machine's success depends on you not getting too lucky. It needs you to keep believing the next one will be your moment. He smiled faintly and said, that's the genius of it. It lets you feel wise while you're being fooled. By the time most players realize they're down, down, it's already too late. They've been serenaded by music, rewarded for waiting, and convinced that patience is skill. He looked down at the final name on his paper, then exhaled slowly. This last one, he said, was the hardest for me to work on. It's playful on the outside, but underneath, it's pure manipulation. He was referring to a machine that combines horror with humor, one that seems harmless but uses emotional contrast to keep players addicted. The final name on his list, Spooky Link. At first glance, Spooky Link doesn't look like a threat. Its cartoon ghosts, colorful pumpkins, and goofy soundtrack make it feel like a lighthearted Halloween attraction. Kids would smile at the screen if they walked past it. But according to the ex-casino employee, it's one of the most carefully engineered machines on the floor, designed to exploit emotion in a way few others do. Spooky Link was built to play with your feeling, he said. It's not just about fear or excitement. It's about how your mood changes while you play. He explained that during testing, the game's developers discovered something unusual. Players reacted differently to wins and losses depending on the tone of the background music. So they built a system that changes the soundtrack dynamically based on your performance. When you're winning, the music is upbeat and playful. When you're losing, it becomes slower, darker, almost haunting. It's like the machine is matching your emotions, he said. But what it's really doing is guiding them. The shifting music tricks your brain into thinking the machine is aware of your situation, like it's communicating with you. Psychologists call this empathic design, and it's becoming more common in interactive gambling. By syncing the environment with the player's emotions, the game creates a false sense of connection, almost as if the machine is on your side. The ex-employee said, "You start to feel like it understands you. That's when it owns you." Another manipulative element in Spooky Link is the ghost collection meter. Each spin adds tiny glowing spirits into a jar, which slowly fills over time. Players believe that when it's full, a big bonus will trigger. But in reality, the meter has no fixed threshold. It can fill for hours without releasing anything. It's a visual metaphor for hope. Every spin feels like progress, he explained, but progress doesn't exist. The meter's just a distraction to keep you believing something's building. And it works brilliantly. Casinos reported that players spent an average of 48% longer on Spooky Link than on other themed machines. The slow accumulation of glowing ghosts, the changing sounds, and the soft color palette combine into a perfect loop of calm engagement and quiet anticipation. The game's bonus round, called Haunted Fortune, might look random, but insiders say it's the most manipulative part. Once triggered, you're presented with floating pumpkins that hide prizes. You choose one, the screen flashes, the lights dim, and then disappointment. Usually it's the smallest payout, but the trick is in how it feels. The animation drags on for several seconds, teasing you with sound and suspense. The experience is cinematic, emotional, and addictive, even when the reward isn't. You feel something, he said. That's what matters. It doesn't need to pay, it just needs to make you feel alive. What's worse is the timing of those bonuses. Spooky Link uses what developers call emotional recovery pacing. The game measures how long you've gone without a positive response and injects a win, animation, or near miss just before frustration peaks. That keeps you calm, curious, and invested. The ex-employee said, "It's like someone studying your heartbeat and feeding you hope at the right time." He admitted this was the machine that finally made him question his career. "I remember watching a woman play it late one night," he said. "She'd lost a few $100s, but she kept smiling every time the ghosts floated up. She said, 'It's okay, I'm getting close,' but she wasn't. The jar never fills, not really." He paused. "That's when I realized what we were really selling. It wasn't luck, it was emotion. Manufactured, packaged, and sold back to the player." Spooky Link, he said, represents the evolution of the casino industry. It's not about chance anymore. It's about control. Not control over the game, but control over you. He explained that the newest versions of these machines collect behavioral data, spin speed, cash-in frequency, average frustration delay, and feed it back into AI systems that adjust design updates. The next generation of games will be even smarter, reading human emotion through interaction patterns. "The games are learning," he said quietly, "and they're learning from us." He looked at the notes one last time. All 5 names lined up on the page, each one a different strategy. Flaming Pots kept you spinning. Piggy Bankin' made you smile while you lost. Fast Cash made you chase momentum. Dancing Drums gave you control you never had. And Spooky Link, it made you feel understood. Together, they form a pattern, a blueprint for a casino that doesn't rely on luck at all. It relies on human psychology. He said, "People think casinos are about money, but they're really about data. The more they know how you feel, the easier it is to make you stay." The interviewer asked him what he thought players should know, what advice he'd give to someone walking into a casino tomorrow. He thought for a moment before answering. "Remember this," he said, "every machine you sit at has already calculated how long you'll stay and how much you'll lose before you stand up. The lights, the sounds, even the speed, they're not there to entertain you. They're there to control you. You're not playing the game. The game is playing you." He looked down at the paper again, tracing the names of the machines like old ghosts. "I don't blame the players," he said. "They're chasing a feeling everyone wants, hope. But casinos figured out how to sell that feeling forever." He paused, then added softly, "They don't build games to take your money quickly. They build them to take it beautifully." And with that, he folded the list, stood up, and walked away. The casino lights flickered through the glass behind him, reds, golds, and purples swirling together like a hypnotic storm. The machines kept singing their songs, waiting for the next person to sit down, press a button, and start believing. Because that's all these machines ever needed: belief. And belief is the most profitable game of all. If you got some value or insight from this expose, if it made you look at casinos a little differently, then hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more insider breakdowns from behind the casino floor. Every week we uncover another secret the house doesn't want you to know.